The president of Mountain View Seniors Housing, Bruce Beattie, presented an update on the organization to the Oldstown Council at their April 22nd Policies and Procedures Committee meeting. Sam Smalldon, Chief Administrative Officer, was also on hand to answer any questions from the councillors. Mountain View Seniors Housing is a non-profit organization and registered charity operating seniors lodges, seniors apartments, and subsidized family housing in Carstairs, Sundre, Olds, and Didsbury.
Well, I think we're trying to provide a service that's special for our community. I mean, I believe we don't have a profit motive in mind when we're setting our rates, when we're operating, and so we, in theory, should be able to provide these services at a lower rate, and we believe an equal quality. So this is just an opportunity. We're trying to bring a common message around to all councils, so that all councils are familiar with the organization and are at the same level of understanding for the organization. So that's the intent of this, and also to bring you up to date on where we are with the progress in terms of the lodge or potential lodge in Sundre. And the key message here is that we do offer housing. We are a housing organization. We are not a healthcare organization, and we want to make sure that we focus on that. We do provide healthcare for the lodge at a low level, but beyond that, we are a housing organization. We back in 2011, we spent 3 Saturday mornings. The board at that time. Everyone has been changed since then except myself, but that board at that point, we were in a bit of I want to say a crisis situation, but we had a number of issues going on within the organization that were quite significant. We'd had a turnover at the CAO a couple times. We had a lodge here in Olds that, as if you were aware, we're having a few issues around that construction and the financing and the actual building of the lodge. So we were trying to get that under control, and we also wanted to have a clear indication of where we were going as an organization. So we spent 3 Saturday mornings on each occasion talking about our vision and our mission and how we could make the organization more successful and kind of draw out a roadmap where we wanted to go.
We spoke with Bruce Beattie about the challenges the organization faces.
Well, it all comes down to capital. Access to capital is one, the cost of capital. These lodges are built to a high standard. And so that's probably one of our major challenges in order of keeping that and recognizing that a lot of these individuals don't have the kind of resources that we might expect. And so we have to provide those services at a reasonable cost that they can afford. So there's a combination of a high level of care at a cost that those individuals can't afford. And so we need to make sure that the province and the communities support those and can provide those services at that fair price.
So some of the statistics around the organization: we provide homes for over 400 seniors and families, both in supportive living and within our independent system. We have 171 Alberta housing, 171 residents in the housing program. We may have some empty units, but the number of people we have is higher than the 403 vacancies. So that 100% occupancy is covered in that. We do have some vacancies in the Carstairs units, and that's more a function of the facility that we have there, I think, than demand. So if someone asked at the Didsbury meeting whether or not we were looking farther down the road than 2016, if we are successful and the board agrees to going forward with the Sundre project, that'll be the date of the opening for the Sundre project. Are we looking farther ahead than that? And it certainly got us thinking about what would next be in the pipeline, and I think the Carstairs area is probably the next.
Sam Smalldon, Mountain View Seniors Housing CAO, talked about the occupancy status.
Well, currently, if you understand that we do occupancy is calculated by the number of people divided by the number of spaces available, and currently we're operating at 100% or over 100% occupancy, and we've enjoyed that for the last several years, including having a wait list to fill a vacancy when it becomes available. Just recently we're starting to see a vacancy or two within certain locations, and some of those are location specific and specific to the type of facilities, meaning the older facilities not as attractive as the newer facilities for the same price, so to speak. So we're trying to market to attract people to that vacancy and make sure that we maintain no less than 98% occupancy. Demand to be growing in the independent living and people that want to live close to a lodge because they know the day may come soon and may come on a 24-hour basis where they're not able to get the care and they don't want to have to move. So if they're in a facility that has the independent living, they're closer to moving into the lodge right away and get the care they need without moving again. And again, people in the lodge who are regular lodge at the low level of care, by adding on a high level care, they get to also move to the higher level of care without moving other than to another suite in another part of the same building. The question was asked today about why we weren't increasing the regular lodge, in that the demand just doesn't show an increased need for regular lodge. The demand does show increased need for independent and high level care. And so those are the two that we're adding onto that existing lodge.
We will plan on an all-council meeting in late July or early August to discuss this project business case. And we will finally, after all the pre-construction milestones are completed, no later than August 15th, 2014. We'd like to be in the ground prior to frost, which is, I don't know, September 1st or something. I don't know if it's out of the ground by the August 15th. But that's the intention. And we're still in the process of making sure we have all our ducks in a row and we're going through the final design stages now. The consultant IBI will be providing that in the very near future. So if the project is approved by the board, planning to start mid-August and completion for spring 2016.
Olds Community TV, your go-to channel for news and information in Olds, Alberta.